Well, happy Friday night, everybody, and I think we are all a little more relieved that we did not have any kind of a repeat of an incident like we did last Saturday night. But it was great to see both Chris Mastriani and Kevin Lawrence in the studio. And you got to really understand, for these guys to have to be, Kevin's been there before, but for Mastriani, first opportunity to be in the national spotlight there in the New York studio. It's a little nerve-wracking if you haven't been there before, but I thought they both handled themselves very well. And particularly, I thought one of the key moments tonight was when Kevin Lawrence told off-camera Dan Abrams that he had already arrested that guy who was in the final sequence tonight. You know, these guys, I don't know how in the world that it continues to go on and on and on, and they think they can fool people with that, but I guess when you do it enough times, it just becomes a pattern. I made a few memes tonight about a number of different things, but one of the curious things to me about is I think Veronica Van Patten probably made it to more locations tonight than anybody that we saw. And she looks a little bit like a 20-something Marcia Brady in certain camera angles. Oh, my goodness. I want to thank everybody for a couple of things. Last week, when we did a commentary about 20 minutes after that emotionally draining Saturday night show, more than 1,600 of you went to YouTube. And I don't know a lot of you personally, but I feel like I do because of the fact that we communicate online during the live PD shows, and also some of you during the week. And I just really appreciated it. It's something you didn't have to do, but to take 6 minutes of your time and to hear what perspective I put on the situation, I do thank you for that. I am also going to be doing a blog post about what happened last week and trying to bring in some additional things. So I'll tweet that out this week and let you know when that is going to appear. And the other thing is that last Monday, we decided to do a segment on this on our local newscast, Jackson 24/7. So I was interviewed about the show and about what happened last Saturday night. That is on YouTube right now. I will tweet out again a link to that, as well as an interview that I did with somebody who's one of your favorites. And at least for most people, she is. So that's there as well. But I think, really, when it gets right down to it tonight, of course, this was what I call a workmanlike live PD, because you had Leverett, who also seemed to be just about everywhere imaginable tonight in every possible situation. And the interesting thing is, and I think justifiably so, in an era where, in the last 3 years in particular, we have seen such a transformation in some people's attitude toward police officers. A minority, to be sure, but a vocal minority that has indeed just amped up the amount of vulnerability and danger that these men and women are under. I really think what Live PD has served to do, and it's particularly because of those of you who participate online and share your thoughts during the week, I think what it has done, it has shown the groundswell of support for police officers, sheriff's deputies, first responders, anyone who has anything to do with law enforcement all over the country. And I think it is really, just reading a lot of the tweets and the posts that occurred during the week, it just really says to me that these officers really, really appreciate it. And it has a lot to do with adrenaline and making them really feel better about what they do at a time when, you never know who's going to turn up in that car that you pull over on the side of the road. So keep that going, because I've been a fan of what these people do for a long, long time. And when I was a kid, my father took me down to meet a lot of the police officers because he was the chaplain for police court in our hometown. And I've had a tremendous amount of respect for what law enforcement does all over the country. But we had an interesting evening. Nothing that I think we would say was terribly spectacular. A few more humorous moments, certainly, than we did last Saturday night. Well, I look forward to seeing all of you again tomorrow night. We'll all be online and hopefully have an opportunity to chat with each other. And it's really fun. So We'll be here tomorrow night when the show starts, and those of you on the West Coast, I know it's frustrating sometimes when you're online and you see the post about an episode you haven't seen yet, but we'll do our best to have some fun with it again tomorrow night, and I'll have a post-show commentary again after Saturday night's show. So till we're all together tomorrow night, Steve Beverly saying so long from the great hub city of West Tennessee.